Connor, thanks. Now 646, big developments out of Washington we're watching this morning. Right now, federal workers are starting to get emails with the option to leave their jobs with a severance deal. This is all part of the White House's efforts to downsize the federal government. Our Joe St. George from Scripps News is live this morning with an update on this opt-out option, I guess is what they're calling it, and how much money they're really trying to save here at the end of the day.
Well, Blaine, we should be clear. There are federal workers in every corner of the country. But if you're going to ask which economies are going to be hit hardest, potentially with this, depending on who takes the buyout, it's Virginia, it's Maryland, it's the District of Columbia. North of 145,000 federal workers live in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Many of them have either received the email or will receive the email sometime today from their supervisor and manager. Here's the decision that federal workers in Virginia and around the country have to make. They have between now and February 6th, so not a lot of time, to essentially take a buyout. It would be severance, pay, benefits until the end of September. That worker, according to the Office of Management and Budget, essentially would go on administrative leave. Then they would have to find new work, new places of employment. As Elon Musk has pointed out, an 8-month severance package is considerably more generous than the average private sector severance package. The Trump administration believes anywhere between 5 and 10% of the federal workforce will take this. So if you add that up with Virginia's numbers, we could be talking about 10,000 or so people that may take this in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The Trump administration believes nationwide this will save around $100 billion. Now, if federal workers decide to stay, after all, there's a number of federal workers, they enjoy their work. Some may wonder, well, how can I make as much money in the private sector? What about the benefits in the private sector compared to the public sector? Yes, they're certainly different. The reality is that the memo, the email sent to federal workers makes clear that the work culture is going to be changing under President Trump. More in-office work will be required, and future downsizing may occur. The threat of layoffs later down the line may happen because of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE as it's known. So another shock and awe memo from President Trump. Federal workers now have a big decision. By the way, Senator Tim Kaine took to the floor of the United States Senate yesterday, blasted this. He said President Trump has no authority to make this deal happen. He's warning federal workers not to take it, and don't be fooled. Senator Tim Kaine is worried that these workers may take this deal and then ultimately somewhere down the line not receive the benefits that they are being promised this morning. So another bombshell got Blaine out of D.C. on this Wednesday.
Yeah, and I know you'll be tracking that and the developments closely. Something else you're watching for us this morning is what's happening with this freeze of federal aid and loans. Now, the freeze got frozen itself yesterday when a judge put a temporary stop. But where does that stand this morning?
Yeah, a lot of freeze, frozen, a lot of those words being thrown around. To be clear, the long legal fight has begun on this. I think it's a much quieter Washington today compared to where we were 24 hours ago. It was chaos because we didn't know what programs were going to be impacted. How might people in Hampton Roads be impacted? We were calling Meals on Wheels to see, well, is that program going to be able to continue? The federal judge's decision to freeze President Trump's directive yesterday before it took effect until Monday provides some calm here now as we continue to search for answers here. And quite frankly, this is probably going to be a lengthy legal fight that may go all the way to the United States Supreme Court. Remember, this is a fight the Trump administration wants. They believe they were given a mandate by the American people to deliver drastic change. This is drastic change. Trump isn't facing a ton of criticism from his own party for this, and he also on paper has a conservative-leaning Supreme Court. So while the funds are safe for now, if you're worried about that, if your place of employment's worried about that, now we wait and see to see what the courts ultimately decide. And this may be months or years before we have a final resolution on this, Blaine.
Joe, in the 24 hours until we talk to you again, I'm sure a world of developments will happen on these stories and other news, and you'll be on top of it for us in Washington as always.